right, welcome to the year 2022. We are kicking off this year with a construction industry outlook 2022 from Gerry McCaughey, offsite construction technology expert and founder, Entekra. While 2021 delivered strong order books driving construction businesses well into the new year, a shortage of labor, increased costs on building material, and supply chain disruption will also carry into 2022. Today, Entekra founder and offsite construction tech expert Gerry McCaughey will join us on Dave Cooper Live with his outlook on how these issues and others like sustainability, next generation digital technologies, data integration, and analytics will play out in the new year. What is top of mind for construction industry executives to overcome new and existing hurdles and maximize growth? What are your thoughts on these 2022 construction trends and others? Put them in the comments now. We'll see if we can answer them. Make sure to join the conversation also because you may win a free pass to the 2022 International Builder Show in Orlando, where the latest trends and construction tech is on full display, including the IBS Startup Zone. Featuring a select number of hand-picked innovative startups, this is where emerging solutions take off and productive relationships begin. Surely, we will cover a lot of ground in this fast-paced conversation with Gerry McCaughey, so get your comments and questions ready. What do you think will drive construction industry growth and trends in 2022 today on Dave Cooper Live? Now, what's even better than kicking off the new year with Gerry McCaughey, you may ask? Well, it's kicking off the new year with our newest sponsor, Stream Logistics. They are experts in high-stake freight. What exactly is high-stake freight, and what does it mean for you, your supply chain, and your precious cargo? Put simply, high-stakes freight is any type of freight and logistics where there's a lot on the line. There's risk involved in you personally and professionally, including financial costs, timeline delays, reputational damage, and lost customers. High-stake freight is the perfect choice for projects with timelines and specific delivery sequences, shipments with high complexity, shipments with unique constraint. So, if construction logistics is your top priority and you're discussing it this new year, reach out to Carson Holmquist, co-founder and CEO of Stream Logistics. The methods of constructions need new transportation solutions, and they are up for the challenge. Learn more about these logistics solution providers for offsite construction at www.streamlogistics.com. All right, we are getting into it. This is going to be a fast-paced show. In 2022, our shows are going to be 30 to 40 minutes. We are going to get to the information fast. We're going to bring in our guest right now, Gerry McCaughey. Gerry McCaughey, Happy New Year, my friend.
Many happy returns, Dave.
So we're going to have a lot of fun this show. What's that?
I'm honored to be the first guest on for the new year on your show.
You know, Gerry, we always support those who support us out there and try and give back. And you've been driving this industry forward. And there's a lot of change in 2022 coming up, and nobody better than you to actually talk about that. And I'm excited for it. So if you guys are tuning in, we will be giving away one out of 5 that we have, free passes to the International Builder Show. All you need to do is comment. And if you don't want to comment or ask a question, just type in the comments, hashtag IBS 2022, and you will be entered to win. I will show you how this drawing works, and you'll be able to see. So let me put it up here for him, Gerry. How about that? Let me just show him. As people can see, there's 3 entries so far into this drawing. So keep commenting, put in hashtag IBS 2022, and you will have your chance to win one of those free tickets. And if you don't need it and you win, guess what? You can give it to somebody that will be able to use it. All right, Gerry, this year, we are going to be talking about what you think are the top 5 2022 trends moving in, and we're going to predict these. And I think at the end of the year, we should have you back on and see how well you did. What do you think?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
What do you think?
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah, it is going to be good. All right, so we're going to hop into it. But one last quick note before I forget. Greg Ugaldi's going to hop on at the end, too, the immediate past chairman of the National Association of Home Builders. So stay tuned for that. If you're here to see him, he will be here. All right, Gerry, let's get into this. The first question today, what are we looking for market indicators and performance going into 2022?
I mean, I think that this is the question that everybody is asking themselves at this time of the year. I mean, everybody's now looking towards the new year to see what will happen in 22 as opposed to what happened in 21. And is there anything different out there, or are there any warnings on the horizon, or are there any indicators on the horizon that would say that the market's either going to get better or worse? And I think this is now the appropriate time to discuss this. From my own perspective, I think that it's a very interesting time in the sense that we're now entering a year where we will definitely have the first interest rate rise from the Fed. And I was trying to figure out how many years it is, but it must be close to 10 years. So that's a very, very significant historical fact that we've had 10 years of pretty much zero interest rate rises from the Fed. And we all know the impact that interest rate rises can have on the housing market. So the current indicators from the Fed being that there will be 3 rises through 2022. And that, by anybody's means, when you hear that, you think to yourself, well, that's a negative for the market. My own view is that I don't believe that 3 are possible. I think that if we do get rises, it'll be 2, and I think we're going to have to see how the Omicron variant plays out in all of this. But I think the Fed, in as many ways, was putting an indicator out to the market to try to cool it down by saying that there could be three rises in 2022. But personally, I just don't see that that's going to happen. I think it's too much of a risk given the way COVID is actually playing out. Yeah. But having said that, even if the 2 rises occur, I don't think overall, if you take the next 12 months, I don't think it's going to have a significantly negative effect on the marketplace. There's too much demand out there. I think you may have, running up to an interest rate rise from the Fed, you may have a sort of a binge going on where people try to get in ahead of the rise, and then you may have a little bit of a slowdown afterwards. But it's like everything, the rises will be so small that the market will adjust to them. But overall of the year, I believe we're still going to stay pretty much where we were through 2021, which we saw even in October a little bit of a drop, and then we saw through November, December it picked up again. And as far as I know, we're in a current run rate of somewhere between 1.5 and 1.6 million housing starts per year, which is actually above the 30-year average. So it's a very positive time for the industry, and that's what I think at the end of the year we're going to end up with.
Yeah, and raising these rates, is it good for the economy or not good for the economy in your opinion?
That's a double-edged sword. I mean, I think overall you can't go around with an economy that's got inflation running at 5-6% and not do something about it. So I think the Fed sort of has their hands tied in the sense that they have to do something. Now they can do a lot of talking and not enough sort of walking and try and cool the market down, but I think they are going to have there is going to have to be some form of an interest rate rise to try to send a message to the market that the Fed will step in to take care of it. But I think the underlying demand for housing is probably going to be the factor that will allow those rates to rise without there being a major negative. I mean, if you think back to 2021 and even 2020 and before that, there was this talk going around that the millennials didn't want to own anything. They didn't want to own cars. They didn't want to own homes. I think that's off the table. Yeah, millennials now want to own their own homes. And if you look at the age group that's coming through the economy, the cohort that's in that 29 to 33 year age group, which are the people who buy their first time homes and start families, that's one of the largest cohorts ever to come through the US economy. So, and they're now buying homes. So I think there's no doubt that there's going to be support there, even with the interest rate rises.
Great. Perfect. All right. Question number 2, offsite integrated construction. What are your predictions for the offsite, modern methods of construction, whatever anybody wants to call it, moving forward? And let's talk a little bit about this integrated construction.
Well, I mean, I think if you, I was just doing myself over the last couple of hours, I was looking to see what was the market saying about the trends that were happening for 2022. And I mean, I must have read 10 or 15 articles to see what people were saying. There was one common theme in every single one of them, and that was the increased use of offsite construction. So I don't think there's any doubt that offsite now has got its grip on the market, and that people are now seeing it as being a solution to the problems that they face, and that it is delivering the benefits that the market hoped that it could deliver. So I think what we're going to see is the increasing use of both modular, and particularly I think, and I don't want to go and focus too much on this, but I think increased use of modular in multifamily projects in particular. Although, I mean, when you look at what Impressive and companies like that are doing in terms of a single family, I think there's still going to be a growth in that side of it. But I think the big builders are now starting to see that modular can be used for the large multifamily projects. But in terms of the integrated construction, with the type of advanced panelization, which is now being shown to be able to deliver benefits in single family for production home builders, I think we're going to see a significant increase in both the use of that from the existing companies in the market and more companies coming in to the marketplace. I mean, we already have seen that there's a future frame opening up in Texas, which again is connected back to my Irish buddies. I'm also aware through work that I'm doing of a number of other European companies that are looking at the US market as well, primarily from that integrated panelized single family market. Because despite the belief in the US that really it was more modular or offsite construction was more suitable for multifamily, in Europe, it's used for single family all the time. And I think we're going to see more and more of that. And I take my hat off to the likes of Vaughan Buckley and BBC for stepping in when there was a Katerra issue, taking over that factory. It again shows you the support that was there and the demand that's in the industry. Blueprint Robotics got taken over as well, and they're going strong again. So you have a lot of positive things happening that indicate that the market is really supporting and wants the use of both the full-blown volumetric modular, and it also wants the use of integrated construction on the single-family production home market as well. So I'm very confident that both of those are going to continue to grow during 2022.
Yeah, I see that and feel that as well. And I think we're going to see a lot of new, younger people coming into this market as well, which is going to be great. So put it on your calendar for Wednesday. We have Matteo from Boxy going to be on the show. We're going to be talking about what they're doing, and they are a new entrance, as if that's the right word, to the offsite modular space here. So put that on your calendar for this Wednesday at 1:00. We will have them on the show. All right, Gerry, this is the big fish. This is the big fish in the sea. Let's see if you can bring it all the way to the boat and feed us some sushi here, right? It's a big tuna. Supply chain. Are we going to get over this supply chain issue in 2022?
In a word, no. I mean, that's just.
I don't like that.
Well, that's just let's. I mean, it's like the alcoholic. You got to admit you got a problem before you can do anything about it. And if we think that the supply chain issues have gone away in 2022, I mean, I'm not going to say that by the end of the year we won't see a significant improvement or significant improvement throughout the year, but they're not going to go away. Because if you even take, for example, the situation with lumber now, like last year we had lumber going up 250 to 300%, depending who you're listening to or where you were buying from. Dropped back down significantly in a very, very short period of time, and it's back up again. So, and that's also. I mean, it's all related back again to this COVID labor supply, COVID and labor in general supply situation. So, I just don't see that in at least the first half of this year, that we're going to see a major significant change in the issues that are there with regard to the supply chain. Second half of the year. But who knows? And again, this is the one thing we don't know. I mean, nobody predicted Omicron 6 weeks ago. They think about that 7 weeks ago.
Right.
So we don't know what the next variant is going to be that may or may not occur throughout the year. But if you look at the first half of the year, the supply chain issues are still going to be there. I mean, I've driven past LA Port myself and seen the ships sitting out there.
Now, does this supply chain issue, and I just want a quick prediction, I'm going off script a little bit, does it allow the door to open up for new entrants and new products into the market?
Yes, and I can also say this without giving too much away. I mean, I'm working with a number of companies at the moment, and that's exactly what they're doing. Yep. They're looking for the new products that come in and the new processes that can actually help solve the issues around the supply chain. I mean, in many ways, this will probably be good for the industry in the long run. It takes shocks to the system for people to think about doing things different ways and using different products. When everybody's going along comfortably, nothing really changes because there's no impetus to change. Now there's an impetus to change, and I think there are many companies out there now that are actually looking at how they can help solve this problem.
I agree. All right, listen, everybody, if you are joining us, we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. So get your tweets on. And if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you might want to do that because you can catch all these great conversations even after you missed it. So if you're not watching this live, welcome to the show. We're glad you're tuning in and listening to all this. All right, Gerry, we are going to give away a free International Builders Show ticket at the end of the show with our good friend Greg Ugaldi, who will hop in here in just a few minutes. But first, we got to get through the last 2 questions and predictions from Gerry McCaughey. And this is another big one. This is an elephant in the room problem that we have across the country, and I think even around the world, and that is workforce. What is your thoughts on workforce for 2022? Can we get the young people into our industry if we're cool enough? I know you're cool enough, but what about the rest of the industry?
Well, no, you said it, Dave. If we're cool enough. I mean, if we make the industry attractive to the young people who are out there. I mean, I think yesterday I was reading an article that said that approximately a quarter of the construction industry is aged 50 years or older. 50 years or older. Now think about that as a statistic. It's staggering. Those people within the next 10 years are all going to retire. Now you go to the other end of the marketplace, and I think you have less than 17% of the market are under the age of 30. And the other statistic that I know is that for every 5 that are leaving the industry currently, one are entering.
Yep.
So what does that? There's no short-term answer to the labor, and I call it a crisis. There is no short-term answer to it. Yeah. But what I'm afraid of, my biggest fear, is that people are putting their hands over their eyes and actually ignoring how they solve the problem by just simply thinking, because the common answer in the construction industry is, we'll just open up the borders and let people come across and that'll solve the problem.
Yeah.
That may have been the way in the past. It's not going to happen again. We've got to face that. But we've also got to face is that we have an industry that is using methods and processes that are 100 years old. And if we don't modernize, we're not going to attract, as I say, and I've said it many times, this generation grew up with an iPad in one hand and an iPhone in the other. And they look at an industry that hasn't changed in 100 years and say, that bears no relevance to me. And so when people say, we need to have more trade schools and that'll help us get people to come into the industry, honestly, that's complete rubbish. The reason why we don't have trade schools is because the people don't want to go to them. Right? It's not that we don't have trade schools, that's why we don't have people in the industry. We don't have the trade schools because people don't want to go to them, because they're looking at a trade school going, I'm not going into that. What relevance does that have to me? So we've got to make the industry more attractive by modernizing it. And as David Farmer said, or Mark Farmer said, modernize or die.
That's right. That's right.
Simple as that. Modernize or die.
You know, I couldn't agree with that more, you know, and I think using even the term, modernize in how we talk to the consumer, we need to educate the consumer. The consumer needs to know what's going on out there. And we also have to make it cool again, right? It is cool. I mean, we got DFMA, we got parametric, we got all these different technologies coming in, generative design, right? 3D mapping, 3D printing. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening. But if the consumer does not know it's there and it's happening, because they hear prefab and they get nervous, right? Or what have you. So, and the young people, they need to hear the cool stuff that's happening, and we got to get that out there.
Let me just, you're absolutely right. But isn't there one interesting point? And again, I know it's, maybe you could say it's a particular part of the United States, but when we did a lot of work in the Bay Area of San Francisco, what's funny is what we've heard from builders and developers is that the people who've been coming around to walk the homes, when they have actually been on the site and they've seen the integrated offsite construction being used, they actually get excited about it. They actually look at it and say, my God, this is a higher quality product, because it's not, these people are buying homes today that are in their 30s or 40s. They're familiar with technology. They look at this and they go, that's how things should be done. Yeah. So it's actually, I think we need to sort of bifurcate this and say, okay, there was the pre-war or the post-war era people who looked at the industry, the baby boomers, and maybe said, if it's prefab, it's lower quality. That's not how the current generation looks at the use of factory automation and technology. They look at it from the perspective of, this delivers me a higher quality product. And I think some of the bigger builders are now starting to realize this, and they can actually use it to their advantage. So, but we do need to modernize it. That's how we'll attract people into the industry.
All right, let's get to our last question, and then we're going to bring Greg Ugaldi in, and we will do our drawing, and we'll say hi to a few people, because we love it when everybody tunes in. That's what's so much fun about our show. Number 5, digitization, technology, and connected construction. This plays off of what we were just talking about a little bit, what needs to happen in our industry, but not only to bring the youth in, but for us to build it better, for us to actually build healthier, more sustainable homes. So go ahead, Gerry, what's your thoughts?
Absolutely. And I think, I mean, it's been said many times that the construction industry has the lowest levels of digitization within the industry. I mean, it's incredible when you think about it, because when you think about what CAD and CAM can actually do, the fact that it has not been embraced by the industry has been a glaring fault, but also a major opportunity for the industry. And I think from what I can see and from what I'm hearing and from the people that I'm actually working with, the whole use of digitization and that level of technology is definitely going to increase through 2022 and further on. I think now it doesn't even actually have to be, Dave, at the people who are using the factory manufacturing methods. I've actually seen now that digitization is also starting to be used now by people who are using more traditional methods on site, because they're beginning to realize that the use of digitization and technology pre-construction to get on site will help make the whole process more efficient, regardless of whether you're using offsite construction or you're using more traditional methods. Just by the fact that you've built the digital twin, that you have a BIM model, that you've worked through the building before you ever go to the site, and so you're not trying to figure out the problems when you're standing on the building site. I've said many times before, it costs relatively little to figure out a problem in front of a computer screen. It costs thousands of dollars per hour standing on a building site trying to figure out, how am I going to solve this? So I know I give too much away, but I mean, there's a lot of work going on at the moment with a number of companies with regard to digitization and the better use of technology for all sides of the industry, right from the traditional methods through to the manufacturing in the factory. But I do want to also make one point to people who look at the offsite industry, because this is also a thing that I fear at times, is that people think that sometimes if I want to go into offsite construction, well, it's a matter of going out and buying the automation. Let me go out and buy the technology, the factory, meaning the manufacturing. They just go out and spend a couple of $1 million or $10 million, whatever, on the factory automation, and they think that'll solve the problem. Before you ever do that, you need to have invested in the software technology to drive that equipment. It's like what I'd say is, if you could afford it, you could go out and buy a Formula One car tomorrow. It doesn't mean you're going to beat all the other Formula One drivers, because they have more experience and more knowledge. And the same thing is true. It's not the equipment on the factory floor that makes an offsite company. It's the knowledge and information that you put through your technology, your software, to drive it, that delivers the major benefit. The stuff that's coming through your automation is only an output. You have to get it through the front end. And that's where people, I think, are missing and don't fully understand. They see the glitzy machinery and the robotics on the factory floor. But in reality, you have to have got the most advanced, the most sophisticated, most efficient software before you ever go and invest in one of those pieces of machinery. And that would be my warning to people. And my warning to the people thinking of going into the industry in 2022 is, think about where you start here. Don't put the horse before the cart.
I love it. The warning. And it is, because traveling this country on the Build It Better Roadshow, we have seen so many people starting off with the basic technology and growing their equipment to the technology that they get up front. That's the digital twins, that's the lasers, and that's the ability to even 3D map on the job site and bring it back in to make sure what you're building is exact before it even leaves the manufacturing facility. So
yeah, and we didn't know. I know it's short, and I know you want to keep me. I'm hard to keep me shut up, Dave. But I do. I mean, with regard to AR and AI, I mean, all of these technologies now are all starting to come into play. So, but that to me is where I think the industry really needs to start to focus first. The machinery is secondary to having that the investment in that area of the business.
I'm in agreement with you on that, 100% for sure. All right, listen, everybody, we are going to bring in Greg Ugaldi in just 1 second, so please hit that like and share button. If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. This is the new format for Dave Cooper Live in 2022. We're going to get to the meat and potatoes much quicker so you can get about your business, and we are busy in this industry. So let's do this. Let's bring in Greg. Hey, Greg, how you doing today?
Hey, hi, gentlemen. How are you today?
Greg, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you.
We're doing great. All right. So for those of you who may not know Greg Ugaldi, Greg is the immediate past chairman of the National Association of Home Builders, and he has blessed us with 5 International Builder Show tickets for us to give away over the next couple weeks. So it gives you access to the Builder Show. So this is great. Greg, I want to thank you on behalf of myself and everybody that, listens to our show on a regular basis and the newcomers. So thank you.
You're welcome. We're happy to do it too, because we talk about often, and a lot of the concepts that you two gentlemen were just going through. The more we can expose people to, the better off we are. And I think that this gives us an opportunity to do just that, to share some of this information with people, and happy to do it.
Yeah. And Gerry, you go to the International Builder Show every year. I'm fortunate enough to always spend some time with you when we get to one of those. Just in your own brief words, because the NAHB and the offsite industry hasn't always played nice in the sandbox, at least from an offsite industry perspective, but that has changed so much. How valuable is it for our industries to all come together and really be one? And especially this year, it's going to be the biggest year ever for offsite at the International Builder Show.
First of all, this show itself, if you're going to go to one show at all, this is the show. So, that goes without saying, and that doesn't matter whether you're in the United States or where you're somewhere else around the world. Right. This is the one show that you need to go to. The scale of it is just incredible. But in terms of coming together, I agree, and I don't think there's ever been a more important time than the present. And maybe we could say that every year, but when you think about just what we discussed, supply chain issues, labor issues, the increased demand, we as an industry have to help ourselves, and we have to help our customers. Right. And I think, and congratulations to Greg, all the good work he's been doing in this as well, is to try to educate the NAHB members as well. Offsite is not saying it's the solution, but it's definitely part of the solution to helping improve things for everybody, both the builders themselves and for the homeowners. So I think this is an incredibly important time, and I think that Greg in particular and all the people at the NAHB now have to be congratulated on the good work they're doing, that pulling everybody together to let them see the possibilities that exist with the use of offsite construction.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so why don't we get through this real quick, and then Greg, we can do some more comments. We're going to try and get the show wrapped up here after the drawing. Greg, watch this. Check this out. How many people? Here it goes on the screen. So we have 20 people that are ready to take a stab at this. So let's see what happens. You ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Who will it be? And if somebody's already won in the past, we can do a redraw. Malin LaPlace. Hey, awesome. Well, the winner, Malin LaPlace, please just send us a quick private message on LinkedIn or YouTube, wherever you are, and then we will get in touch with you to make that possible. It's exciting. You're going to be able to go in. You're going to be able to see the show, catch some education, and I hope you have a good time. That was awesome. Thank you so much for participating. And for those of you that didn't win, guess what? There's 4 more chances out there. There are 4 more, and we are going to give those away. Another one on Wednesday with Boxy on. That's right. Mateo's going to be with us from Boxy. So join us Wednesday, because you'll have another chance to win it then. How much fun was that? Do you guys like that whole picks it automatically?
Yeah.
Congratulations,
What did you do?
Great.
Just hit a button and pick the name that's just scrolling past?
Yeah, we have a program that when people are commenting, if they type in hashtag, IBS 2022 or today, or they just wrote a comment or a question, it automatically enters them to win, and it scrolls through all the people that have commented over the last 3 minutes. There's been a lot of comments, but it doesn't let you do it twice, even though some people have commented 2-3 times.
All right. Pretty good.
I was getting really nervous because I see Jennifer in the background comment. I'm like, this will look bad if it picks Jennifer. But we can redraw. All right. Why don't we just give a couple quick shout outs? We have about 2-3 minutes left here, so we can say hi to everybody and go from there. There you go. So Jen was telling me, just so we can give credit where credit's due. Malin LaPlace, I think I'm saying her name is right, is a senior learning designer. You'll like this, Greg, at 84 Lumber.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So very good, very good. Well, we hope to see you at the International Builder Show. I know that 84 Lumber is going to be down there. There's no 2 ways about it for that. If I know Judy Donnell, she'll be everywhere. Everywhere. All right.
That's exactly
getting into this. Let's just give a couple quick hellos to everybody that always join us. Buzz Holitzer, good to see you. William Kirkpatrick, it's always a pleasure seeing you. George Ryman, Happy New Year. Hey, look at that. My good friend Miles Biggs out there. Hey, Miles and I always do some stuff. Miles has been a major part of our show and our lives. And Happy New Year to you, Miles. Andrew Seeley, hey, man, you'll get a chance. You'll get a chance on Wednesday, Andrew. Just come back in. He loves the kickoff. Let's get through a few people. Michael Bruce as well. We're going to fly through. Krista Price, happy 22 from Stream Logistics, our sponsor. Hey, Krista. Hey, listen, you know what's so cool about Stream Logistics? And Gerry, this is something, if you don't know them as well, is they bring technology into the transportation. It is no longer, hey, a truck backs up and the driver goes. They take it from start to finish. They fly over the job site. They map everything out. And they have people that control the trucks when they come in. So it's a pretty cool thing.
Love the use of technology.
They're using a ton of it. Hey, Denise, thank you so much. Happy New Year, Dave. Looking forward to 2022. We got Aaron Morton, Jennifer Cooper. Thank you. We are happy to be a part of the Dave Cooper Live. It's so much fun when you see so many people jump in and say hello. Megan Reisner, nice to see you. I can't read all the comments, but I will flip through. George Ryman in the house. I always love it. Henry Mickelberg, never short for words, this guy. Shaking the plum tree. Has the legend got any thoughts upon? Okay, he had a question for you real quick, Gerry. The recent double shocking of the supply chain does make me wonder who is shaking the plum tree. Has the legend, I'm assuming he's not talking about me, I think that's you, Gerry, got any thoughts upon this?
Well, when the guru's asking me a question like that, I feel afraid I'm being set up. So, but yeah, no, Henry and I think would have an agreement that there's not normal market dynamics at work here. There are other things at play in there that I think we all need to learn a lesson from. But yeah, I don't think this is there's normal market dynamics at work. So I don't want to go into too much of it, but happy to have a beer with somebody at the International Home Builders Show and discuss what I think's been going on. But I don't think it's normal market dynamics.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, we're going to take only one of the questions from the Tool Hacker. Do you have any predictions about the volume of waste output for the offsite industry for 2022? How about Entekra? Will they produce more solid waste or less solid waste than they did last year? Entekra, you guys don't make a lot of waste to begin with.
Well, I think the beauty of using technology is that you bring your waste down to the absolute minimum. I mean, that is the whole point of that. You're using optimization to make sure you get the maximum yield for the material that you actually have. So to the extent that you can keep, how do you put it? To the extent you can keep improving your software and keep improving your optimization, you can continue to try to reduce it. But I'll give you a very good example of it. So back in my days in Ireland with Century Homes, we used ISO 14001, right, which is an environmental standard. We had our waste to landfill down to less than 3%. Right? I mean, that's because the purpose was we were reusing everything as well. But we're down to less than 3%. And I'm aware that Stuart Millen in the UK, who were our largest competitor and who are a great company who just got actually sold out recently, they were actually below that. So when you think about what happens on a building site where you can say that the waste is 20, 25%, to be down at 3% and have other companies that are less than 3%, I mean, that just goes to show you
right.
The sustainability, environmental benefits that offsite construction can bring.
I love it. Well, here we go. I'm going to do one more, just flash up. Chris Nicely has always been a big supporter of the show. We don't have to read that whole thing. I flashed it up there, but he's spot on. There's that word, modernize, again. I seen it on some posts on LinkedIn earlier today, this back and forth on do we call it modernize, MMC or not. But I think there's a lot of value to it. All right, that's a wrap, everybody. Gerry, Greg Ugaldi, thank you so much for joining us today. This was fun. And if you like the new format, if you like the speed rounds where we're getting to the details quicker with a lot less of the chit chat, let us know. We're still going to try and get to your comments and questions as we go through. But we here at Dave Cooper Live and everywhere else that's out there, Greg Ugaldi's a regular on the show, Gerry's a regular. We want to make sure that you come and get the value you came for, and we're trying to do that for you. So with that said, Gerry, thank you so much for tuning in today. We appreciate you. Greg Ugaldi, thank you so much. Stream Logistics.
Gerry did a great job with his top 5. That was very good. Talking about the challenge that we all have to incorporate it more too. A lot of times it's slow in coming, but when it catches on, think about how many builders never had websites to begin with.
That's right.
And look at now. That's just scratching the surface. But you've made a lot of good points today.
I think 22, Greg. I think 22 is going to be. I mean, it took, as you said, it took a pandemic in many ways to force people to shock the system to look around. But I think, put it aside and say it has happened. And I think now we're on that road. So I think 22 is in a very, very exciting year.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with you. All right, we're out of time, everybody. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Please like, share, comment. We're trying to grow the word. And if you do comment, we will respond to you even after the show is over. Join us Wednesday for Boxy. Mateo will be on with us, and we will be giving away our second International Builder Show ticket. So we look forward to having you join. I'm Dave Cooper. Gerry, Greg, don't go anywhere. We'll come back to you after the outro. Bye, everybody.